Papertris reminds me of being a kid and making my own games to play with my friends. In elementary school, my friends and I would design games on paper, play them for a few days, wad them up, and move on to designing another game. The art in those games were what you would expect of 6th graders, with no artistic abilities, mainly stick figures holding weapons. When I look at Papertris, I can see what might have happened had my friends and I kept pursuing our dreams of being game designers. The name, Papertris, invokes thoughts of playing Tetris, using pieces sketched on paper and cut out. But after watching the trailer, it's easy to see the game may not be adequately named. Papertris is not about lining up tetraminos in rows to make them disappear. The goal here is to match cube colors. Each piece in Papertris is composed of 3 cubes of various colors arranged vertically. There's no option to rotate the piece to a horizontal orientation. The only option to modify that piece is to rotate the color sequence within the 3 cubes. Now, some people may recognize the gameplay here as being very similar to Columns for the Sega Genesis. The biggest difference is that the cubes of the same color do not need to be in a straight line in order to clear. As long as the same color cubes are connected to each other orthogonally, that entire set of cubes will disappear, as long as the group is over 3 cubes. This allows gravity to take over, and all the remaining cubes fall into the gaps. Now, this can create a chain reaction as those cubes develop new clusters to clear. Adding to this mix of colored cubes, Papertris adds cubes that contain special abilities, like clearing out an entire row or clearing out an entire column. If a piece with a special ability is placed in the field, a timer is set for that ability. The timer will decrease by 1 for every piece that's placed in the field. When the timer reaches 0, the ability activates. Papertris adds some other interesting twists into the game, like pieces where the colors are hidden till the piece is placed into the field, or pieces that allow you to change the colors of a particular column when that piece lands. At higher levels, new obstacles are added, like pieces that temporarily block a column, or cubes that can't be cleared by special abilities. The thing that makes Papertris the most unique is that the field is 3-dimensional. Normally in a Tetris-like game, when the pieces stack above a certain point, it's game over. But in Papertris, cubes stacked at the top, the entire field is pushed into the background and the game continues. This allows you to make matches with blocks in the foreground and the background. Now, the number of times that the field can be reset is limited based on how many cubes have been cleared. Every 500 cubes essentially grants you an additional reset. Although there are a number of interesting ideas within the game, Papertris doesn't offer many options for gameplay. Players are restricted to 2 modes, challenge mode and endless. Endless mode is just a high score chase. Last as long as you can to get the highest score possible. Every 20 cubes cleared increases the level of difficulty, which means that the pieces will drop just a little bit faster. Every 5 levels causes a new color to be added into the mix, with a grand total of 12 colors available in the game. Challenge mode is more puzzle oriented. It's focused on meeting specific goals, like clearing a specific number of blocks of a certain color, or eliminating a number of blocks within a given time limit. Different obstacles are added in each level to increase the challenge, with a total of 75 challenges available. Between the 2 choices, I enjoyed challenge mode the best. The challenges start off very simple to ease players in, but starts to ramp up a little bit after the first few stages. I have to admit I was a little bored with the stages where you had to clear a certain number of cubes of a specific color. It was essentially like playing endless mode. However, the time challenges required a lot of quick thinking and reflexing. One small mistake could ruin the entire stage. My favorite challenges, though, involved restrictions, such as not clearing specific blocks, or only clearing certain blocks. These became even more challenging when the random power-ups would appear. Being a puzzle fan, challenge mode was very satisfying, even when I had to retry the challenges multiple times. Endless mode, on the other hand, was a bit of a slog, even when I adjusted the starting level to a higher number. The biggest problem is that the number of different cubes can become overwhelming. Endless mode starts with 4 colors. After 100 cubes are cleared, a new color is added. I seemed to do well as long as there were less than 8 colors. Things really got hectic after that. And once all 12 colors were introduced, the game dissolved down to luck a lot of the time. It was near impossible to set up anything. It might be a couple of minutes before that purple cube I needed ever showed up. And when it did, whatever I was building up had probably been overrun by other blocks. The resets didn't help as much as I wanted them to. They essentially just prolonged the inevitable. By the time a reset happens, the blocks are falling fairly quickly, and it becomes almost impossible to divide your attention to set up combos in both the background and foreground. If anything, matching blocks in the background was just a nice little surprise that added to your score. The controls are a little unforgiving at times. This doesn't have a huge impact on the early part of Endless Mode, but after about level 50, it really started to throw off my rhythm. In games like Tetris, there's usually a split second before the piece locks into place. And within that split second, you have the option to maybe rotate the piece or move the piece over before it gets stuck in place. Papertris doesn't afford this luxury. On more than one occasion, as I was trying to move a piece over another one, it would lock into place, preventing both movement and color cycling. When the field was nearly filled, it became even harder to maneuver pieces around the stacks, oftentimes creating a situation that could not be repaired. Without the ability to orient the pieces vertically and horizontally, the game feels stale after a while. Papertris could be much deeper if given an opportunity to change the orientation of the piece. Even if that wasn't a possibility, I think different shaped pieces could have helped freshen the game up. For example, there are 6 different configurations of 3 blocks, assuming no rotation. This would have enhanced the strategy and maybe helped the game match a little bit better with its title. Having lots of colors sounds great on paper, but in practice it's just too many. A game shouldn't be determined by random luck, but Papertris can quickly end due to bad luck if the color you need doesn't pop up. And with 12 colors, it's very difficult to get groups of the same color near each other. Although it isn't a huge negative, I think it should be mentioned that Papertris doesn't have any obvious tutorials. The game is easy to figure out on its own with little time and experimentation, but younger gamers may be discouraged by this as many modern games hold players' hand. Papertris isn't perfect, but it does have a lot more positives than negatives. The graphic design, for example, really drew me in. I am a huge fan of hand-drawn graphics. Designers chose an art style that makes the game stand out, even if the gameplay isn't new. I particularly enjoyed the graphics around the playing field, as the colored cubes would come tumbling out of openings, fall down flights of stairs toward the bottom. Challenge mode is definitely the stronger of the 2 modes and provides a sense of satisfaction for gamers that like engaging their mind while playing. The background field is an interesting idea to the game, and it works since the focus of Papertris is on matching colors. However, I feel like there's not enough control over that. At only $5 though, there's a lot of value packed into this download. 75 challenge levels alone are worth the price. I would like to thank Flynn's Arcade for providing us a copy of this game to review. You can find Papertris on Steam and in the Nintendo eShop. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. Also check out our other platforms, Twitch, Twitter, and our website.